Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Gonna be giving you the latest news regarding a director of football. So it's in this report here saying that Manchester United have identified Juventus chef scout Mateo Tognossi as a possible candidate to become the club's sporting director. Then it says here, Tognossi became Juventus chef scout in 2017 following successful recruitment roles at Zenit St Petersburg, Bayer Leverkusen and Hamburg. Then the highly rated scout is regarded as one of Europe's most pioneering recruitment specialists. Scroll further down. After establishing a solid working relationship with Juventus former general manager Marotta, the pair have been the masterminds behind a hugely successful transfer strategy. Several key signings such as Szczesny and McKennie have been viewed as shrewd pieces of business. Then it says, in the light of Tognossi's impressive recruitment credentials, it is now just a matter of time before the Europe's next step comes up by way of a sporting directing role. And then it mentions here, it's recently been reported that Celtic are hopeful they can reach an agreement with Tognossi. However, Straight News understands that the Scottish side are in direct competition with United. And it just says here, a source close to Tognossi has confirmed to us that Red Devil Heresy are in talks with the chef scout. So there you go. We've been in search for a director of football for a while now. There's been quite a few names linked with that director's role. It'd be beneficial to get one in so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets the backing he needs. Because so far, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been backed enough by the board. You know, Solskjaer has made good signings, don't get me wrong, but he obviously hasn't got all the players that he wanted in as yet. But I said to you before, if we are to get a director of football in, we need someone who knows the culture of the club and someone who's got that experience, and Tognossi has got that experience. Anyway, I want to delve into some news on Jaden Sancho. So, Dortmund could sell Jaden Sancho this summer on one condition. That's if they can keep Erling Haaland. So basically what they're saying is they will not sell both players in the summer. Now, Sports Kicker via Sports Witness recently said that a Jaden Sancho transfer is coming in the summer. And £60 million has been quoted. He recently said we believe we can get him for just £50 million. So we've been given a huge boost in our pursuit of Jaden Sancho. He said earlier on this season that Dortmund reduced their asking price for Sancho to £88 million. So they're not £20 million off, because Dortmund were demanding £108 million last summer for Jaden Sancho. We was reluctant to meet their valuation because last summer Sancho was our number one priority target. He said a few times last summer that the personal terms had been agreed for Sancho. He said a contract had been agreed and even the agent fees had been agreed. Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he's spoken a lot about the Jaden Sancho transfer saga, and so too has Bill's Christian Fark. Dortmund, don't forget, last summer made it clear to us that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund are enduring a poor season. They did have a good win though against Sevilla recently. This is Jaden Sancho's fourth season at Dortmund. Analysing the vast majority of his career with them, he's been very, very consistent. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. He's under contract with Dortmund until 2023. He made an admission earlier on this season saying that he has enjoyed a difficult season at Dortmund. But if Sancho came to the Premier League, I think he would exceed expectations. Now, Erling Haaland, as you all know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would love to sign him. It'd be good to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reunite with the player. Solskjaer knows Erling Haaland well because Solskjaer was the one that gave Haaland his debut at just the age of 16 at Molde. Solskjaer recently made a new Erling Haaland transfer admission and opened up on the Erling Haaland relationship, and Solskjaer insists that he's following Erling Haaland's progress. Haaland's also linked with Manchester City and Chelsea. Erling Haaland's father, earlier on this season, was talking about his son's transfer links to Man United. Back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went up to Norway to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Since Haaland's arrival at Dortmund, he has been a revelation. He's been at Dortmund over the year. Dortmund paid £17 million for him. He's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. He does have a £68 million release clause, but that doesn't become active until next year. Now, who will replace Paul Pogba at Manchester United if he leaves the club in the summer? Now, the Sun recently said we were eyeing a move for Federico Valverde as a possible replacement for Paul Pogba. Federico Valverde plays for Real Madrid. He has a £148 million release clause in his contract that ends in 2025. Federico Valverde, I don't think he's played yet this year for Real Madrid because he's been out with a muscle injury. Before he was at Real Madrid, he was at Penarol, and he did have a loan spell with Deportivo La Coruña. And there was talks of a swap deal between Federico Valverde and Paul Pogba. Declan Rice, we've also been interested in him. You know, do you think he'd be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? Declan Rice has done very, very well for West Ham. He's been at West Ham for several years. He's got a contract with West Ham until 2024. There's also an option to extend his contract for a further 12 months. Before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for several years. ESPN did say earlier on this season we were set to rival Chelsea for Declan Rice. As far as I'm aware, Chelsea are no longer in for him now, because obviously Chelsea did sack Frank Lampard and Declan Rice was Frank Lampard's top target. And it said earlier on this season that West Ham were considering lowering their asking price for Declan Rice to £50 million, but initially they value him at £80 million. But yeah, I'd certainly take Rice at Manchester United. You know, he's well proven in the Premier League. He breaks up the play well, still very young, got a lot of development in him. Predominantly a holding midfielder, but can also be deployed as a centre-back. Bissouma from Brighton, you know, do you think he'd be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? But we are struggling to get these targets. Now, as you all know, at the moment, Paul Pogba is out with a thigh injury. And you can say he is a big miss. Solskjaer did confirm prior to the game against Real Sociedad that Paul Pogba's going to be out for the rest of February. So we're expecting Paul Pogba back in early March. Now, Paul Pogba's performances in recent months have been very, very good before he got this injury. He's been enjoying the best period of his career since he rejoined Man United. Earlier on this season, Paul Pogba had an ankle injury. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury, so sustained quite a few injuries now at Manchester United. Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. There's 3 clubs that are in for him, and that's Real Madrid, PSG and Juventus. I think there's actually a good chance that Paul Pogba will go back to Juventus because he enjoyed 4 exceptional years with them before he rejoined Manchester United. And reports from Italy said that Juventus offered us 4 players in exchange for Paul Pogba. We have revealed our asking price for Paul Pogba. We want £100 million. Now, it said the other week that we'd held talks with Paul Pogba over his future, and Solskjaer came out and said that he's happy at Man United and he suggested he could sign a new contract. Now, it said last month that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club, and he contradicted his agent Mino Raiola for the second time. Mino Raiola, he's desperate to get his client out of the football club this summer. He recently admitted that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. You know, Mino Raiola's been criticised quite a few times and he doesn't have a good relationship with Man United, and he made an announcement back in December regarding Paul Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. The other week, Paul Pogba's brother Mateo Pogba gave us an update on Paul Pogba's future, and he advised us to sell Paul Pogba this summer if we are to get the money, because he said he could leave for nothing next year, and he said he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on Pogba's contract, so he's under contract with the club until June 2022. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants 3 summer signings. He wants a forward, a right winger and a centre-half, and he's set to sit down with Ed Woodward for talks over our business in the next couple of weeks. Now, this year's summer transfer window is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's biggest in his managerial career, because we do need to make more signings. And Woodward must back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the summer transfer window. You know, Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Solskjaer. He did say towards the end of last year he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. Solskjaer has endured 4 transfer windows so far as permanent Man United manager. And yeah, it was a disappointing January transfer window for us. We only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. But Solskjaer did say a few times during the January transfer window that he wasn't expecting any signings. We was focusing a lot more on the outgoings in January rather than the incomings to Solskjaer's credit, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in. The players that left in January were Jesse Lingard. He went out on loan to West Ham. Teden Menge, he went out on loan. Facundo Palestri, he went out on loan. Odin Igalo said his farewells to the club. Marcus Rojo left the club, and Timothy Fosu-Mensah left the club. And I think more players will leave Man United in the summer transfer window. But he said the other week that we are prepared to smash our transfer record in the summer. And Ed Woodward set to hand Solskjaer a huge war chest to sign top players in all areas. Apparently, Jules Koundé from Sevilla is our top target. La Razón, which is a Spanish outlet, recently said we are considered the favourites to sign Jules Koundé, and we are prepared to pay £61 million for him. Do you think he'd go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line? This season, his performances for Sevilla have been outstanding. He's made 70-odd appearances for Sevilla. He's under contract with them till 2024. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. It actually said we had a 5-man centre-back shortlist. We definitely need a centre-half. I am Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. There's obviously been quite a few Manchester United fans that have been demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out because we haven't done well in the league recently. We've only won one of our last 5 league games. Solskjaer has been criticised a lot as Manchester United manager. Obviously, yeah, we've enjoyed a few bad periods under him. You know, we haven't done well in the league recently, like I said. We was poor at the first part of this season. I can honestly say Solskjaer was lucky not to be sacked earlier on this season. And we was poor at the first part of last season. We enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. But we've also enjoyed good periods under Ole. And there's actually been some games where Ole's got the best out of the team, and in recent months I've seen performances improve. I've seen, certain players improve. We have struggled against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season. And people say you've got to beat the top 6 sides in the Premier League if you are to be genuine title contenders. I told you my biggest concern about Solskjaer is his decision making. Because in a lot of his games at Manchester United, he has been tactically naive, but there's also been some games where he has showed tactical flexibility. This is Solskjaer's 3rd season, his 2nd full season. I think he's going to be given at least another season at the football club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to win a trophy at Manchester United to avoid the sack. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and the club of our stature need to be winning trophies. Like I said, the FA Cup is a chance of a trophy, and the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, by the way, has warned Manchester City that the title race is not over. Solskjaer said after our 1-1 draw with West Brom that we are still in the title race. It's just Solskjaer playing mind games, because he made an admission after our 3-3 draw with Everton and said we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. I can assure City are going to win the league this season. They're 10 points in front of us. I think we'll win another title at some point, but I don't know when. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. Our aim this season is to finish in the top 4. I can almost assure that we will finish in the top 4. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager for over 2 years now. He hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager, but reflecting now on he's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Before he came to us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, and before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and he enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. But whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer succeeds as Man United manager or not, we'll always adore him. He's a club legend. He was a great player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. Solskjaer could sign a new contract at the end of this season. But like I updated you recently, Solskjaer admitted he's still waiting to open talks over a new contract, and it did say not so long ago that we will wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Ole. He says we could offer him a new 2-year deal. That's if we qualify for the Champions League. Solskjaer's into the final 18 months of his current contract. Solskjaer did sign a 3-year contract when he got the job permanently back in March 2019. We appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. Obviously, Solskjaer in his first 3 months was the interim manager. Won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. So, reflecting on that, the club decided to give him the job permanently in March 2019. And a lot of United fans did say that we give him the job too soon. But I think he's made very, very good progress, Solskjaer, and I think he's the best manager since Ferguson. I can assure you he was a much better manager than David Moyes was. Solskjaer has got us to the Europa League last 16. He's got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, lost 2-0 to Manchester City. Solskjaer last season, in his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us 3rd. Also went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season, was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. We've got a fantastic away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. The last time lost away from home in the Premier League was to Liverpool back in January 2020. But it's been good to see that we've had periods where we've seen consistency under Ole, because we didn't see consistency for a long time. Like I said, we haven't been the same team since Ferguson. 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson, and that was Moyes. Sacked him after 10 months. Sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season. Solskjaer's still inheriting some players from other managerial areas, but like I said, he's got rid of a lot of players since he come in. But like I say, these players that are really, really improving at Manchester United, Dean Henderson, he's done very, very well in the games he's played in this season. And Solskjaer's admitted that it's becoming more and more harder to leave Dean Henderson out of the side. And there's a chance he'll start against Newcastle, but like I said on my starting 11 prediction, I think he'll go with De Gea. Solskjaer's come out and said that David De Gea's number 1 jersey is under threat. But like I said, I think Dean Henderson will become our number 1 at some point, because he has got that experience behind him and he enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And he's done well in the games he's played in this season. Man Wan-Bissaka, I've got to say, he's really, really improved. You know, there's been some games this season where he's got forward well and he's got into good positions. He's put good crosses into the box. There's been some games where he hasn't got forward that well. But defensively, Wan-Bissaka has always been superb. This is his second full season at Manchester United. You've got Luke Shaw. You know, he's really, really improved, Luke Shaw. You know, he's getting forward well. He's creating chances for his teammates. He's putting good crosses into the box. Defensively, Luke Shaw's superb. And I think Luke Shaw's had a good career at Man United, apart from his injuries. Luke Shaw's been at Man United now over 6 years, and he still remains our first choice left back, despite the arrival of Alex Telles last summer. Don't get me wrong, Alex Telles has played well in some of the games he's played in, but Alex Telles has played nowhere near as much as I expected. There again, he did have COVID at one point. We got Alex Telles in a deal worth 15.4 million. When we got Telles, I thought he was going to be our number one left back, but obviously we can't. Luke Shaw can't drop to second choice left back, you know, of how well he's done this season. Eric Bailly, he's a very, very good centre half, but my element of concern about him is too injury prone. But I certainly prefer him to Victor Lindelof. We need to keep Lindelof out of the team and start Bailly ahead of him, because Lindelof and Maguire don't work together, but Bailly and Maguire seem to work together, don't they? Like I said, I think, you know, Fred's really, really improving. You know, he's getting forward well, his passing's improving, he breaks up the play well at times. Fred's made over 100 appearances now for Man United since his arrival from Shakhtar Donetsk. I've got to say, Fred was a world-class player during his time at Shakhtar Donetsk. At Tommenway, I've seen the best of him in a few games this season. You know, McTominay has been part of the club for several years. Was it just after the first lockdown? He signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United, did Scott McTominay. Donny van de Beek, he's also a very, very good player when he plays. Donny van de Beek, I think, could be available for the game against Newcastle tomorrow night. Van der Beek's played nowhere near as much as I expected. Most of his appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league so far this season. Solskjaer promised Donny van der Beek more game time earlier on this season, and he made an admission saying that Donny van der Beek's unhappy at the club with his lack of game time. You know, Van der Beek can play in 3 different roles. We got Donny van der Beek in a deal worth £40 million. We paid 35 million up front and there was 5 million in add-ons. He's got a contract with the club until 2025. Edison Cavani, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. Now, Solskjaer says Edison Cavani is set for contract extension talks. Cavani's future's been decided. Cavani wants to stay at Man United beyond this season. He's into the final 4 months of his current contract. We got Cavani on a free transfer, didn't we, last summer? He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. I've been hearing rumours that Boca Juniors are in for him. He'll stay for next season, then he'll leave after next season. Because he's, 34, 35 now, Edison Cavani. But I've got to say, you know, Cavani's hold-up play is good. He creates chances and he scores goals. And his movement in and out of the box is also very, very good. And I think he's now overtaken Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial, I am a fan of him, but he hasn't been good this season. He's been out of form, you know. He's had his chances, but he just hasn't converted them. You know, Solskjaer backs Martial to rediscover his form. You know, Martial was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. He's been at the club now over 5 years. Solskjaer was the one that gave Anthony Martial that number 9 shirt. Mason Greenwood, I've also been very, very impressed with him recently, despite scoring. I think he's done well though since he broke into our senior squad. He made his debut for us in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7. And he's made 83 first team appearances. Greenwood recently signed a new 4-year contract at Manchester United. And obviously Bruno Fernandes, he's an exceptional player. He's made the difference since he's come in. People say without him we won't be in the position that we're in. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update with today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.